Good morning everyone and welcome to this week's sports podcast. It's Friday the 29th of October 2021 and this week I've actually done some preparation, so it might be a little bit more structured than it was last week. So we're going to start, as we always do, with the Premier League and look back at what happened last weekend. And the big story obviously was the fact that Manchester United were defeated 5-0 at home by Liverpool. Massive result for Liverpool, massive result for Manchester United, probably for all the wrong reasons. Obviously lost Paul Pogba sent off in the second half, but at the point we were already 4-0 down anyway. We were 4-0 down at half time. Nothing seemed to go United's way in the game. Ronaldo scored, but it was chalked off for offside, and part of his body were offside. It was very tight. But everything seemed to go Liverpool's way in the game, and they were out comfortable victors, and it keeps them up there at the top of the league in second place behind current leaders Chelsea. Chelsea had a massive win. They beat Norwich 7-0 at home at Stamford Bridge. I've got to say, Norwich looked very, very poor. Chelsea are a great team, don't get me wrong, but Norwich look really poor. I think they're going to go down. I don't think there's much doubt about that, unless there's some kind of miracle going on, or Jesus intervenes. So, yeah, big result there for Chelsea as well, so that keeps them top. Manchester City had a good victory of 4-1 away at Brighton at the Amex Stadium. Comfortable 3-0 up at half-time. They maintain third place in the league at the moment. And then another big result, West Ham, they're fourth. They beat Tottenham at home at the London Stadium 1-0. They do have a better team over the whole game, and Mikel Antonio has been proven recently. He's a great striker, scoring lots of goals. Need to keep him fit. If we can keep him fit for us full season, West Ham have probably got a chance of being in the Champions League places, I reckon, at the end of the season. David Moyes has got a good team together. They play as a team, play nicely. And we'll come on to this week's game in a moment. They play Villa, but I'll come on to that in a second. Brighton is still fifth, even though they lost to Man City, and Tottenham are 6 over. We lost that game to West Ham. So we've already mentioned the 3 big games from last weekend. Looking forward to this weekend. Tomorrow lunchtime, Saturday, Leicester at home to Arsenal. That's the BT Sport game at 12:30. Sky Tea Time game is Tottenham against Manchester United. That'll be an interesting one to see how both teams react to the defeats, but obviously most focus will be on Manchester United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because of the extremity of their defeat last week. The 2 Sunday games on TV are Norwich and Leeds at 2 o'clock, and then you've got the 4:30 game, which is Aston Villa against West Ham. Villa will be looking to bounce back from a disappointing result and performance at Arsenal last Friday. They got blown away in the first half by Arsenal. Arsenal were really good, I've got to say. Villa fought back hard in the second half, but once they were getting on top, unfortunately they conceded a slightly fortuitous third goal to Emil Smith-Rowe, who played really well in the game and was deservedly man of the match in my opinion. But Villa looks much better when Leon Bailey came on, and hopefully can get him fit and make him to play a few games in a row now. We need to get the best out of Danny Ings. He hasn't done a lot. He's been playing, but not been doing a lot. I mean, Watkins has looked the better of the two probably, although he's not really scored many either, so they need to get going there. So that's the Sunday tea time game, the main game on Sky on Sunday. Then Monday night football is Wolves-Everton, which is quite an intriguing game because it's to be quite entertaining, I would think. Both teams play decent football, so they're the games to look forward to in this week's Premier League. During the week, we had the League Cup last 16 round, and the big surprise was, after 4 years of winning the tournament and the trophy, Manchester City were knocked out by West Ham on penalties. Surprisingly, the man who missed for Manchester City was Phil Foden. Probably what you'd put your house on to score, he was the one that missed, and that proved crucial. So they got through on penalties, did West Ham. And the other results meant that Liverpool won at Preston 2-0 in their game, and they're probably going to be the favourites now to win the tournament, I would say, based on current form, or maybe Chelsea, because obviously they're top of the league. But I don't know, I just have a sneaking feeling for Liverpool in the League Cup. Chelsea got through on penalties by beating Southampton. Again, similar situation to the previous round when they beat Villa on penalties 4-3. So they scraped through. Leicester scraped through as well. They're going to be a consider winning it as well. Obviously, the draw for the next round of the League Cup takes place on Soccer AM tomorrow morning, Sky Sports. So if you're around and you have that channel, tune in to see the draw if you're interested in seeing which team your team gets in the last 8. So moving on now from the League Cup, we're going to talk about National League football. And since our last week's podcast, Halifax Town have played twice. They had a 1-0 defeat at Solihull on Saturday, and they bounced back with a 1-0 victory over Dagenham and Redbridge on Tuesday evening at the Shea. Now, we always seem to struggle a bit at Solihull. I mean, I've been a couple of times, going back quite a lot of years, and we did alright. We won, I think, and won one and drew one, but we seem to lose. Most recent time, we seem to lose there. And they're not a bad team, and they're now 5th in the league, and Halifax are 4th, so you can see that it probably wasn't such a bad result in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, it was a good result for Town on Tuesday. I've been a little bit concerned about the lack of goals in recent games, but it was the Kieran Green who came up with a winner, and he was declared the man of the match on Tuesday night, and he's had a good season so far for Town, as the gaffer, Pete Weil, has mentioned. He's been really good this year. We're playing well as a team. We haven't got some of the money of that I call the big-time Charlie teams, two of which are really struggling. Wrexham and Stockport are well down the league. I think they're 10th and 11th or something like that, and they're 12 and 13 points behind current leaders Grimsby already. Now Grimsby play 13, they've got 29 at the top. Chesterfield are second and one of the big-time Charlie teams on 28. Boreham Wood are third, and Town are fourth, 26. Solihull 25, Bromley 23. Who Town play tomorrow away. That's going to be a tough match. They have 2 games in hand on Town, but only played 11. We won there last season, if I remember rightly, because I watched it on the live stream, but they beat us at the Shea, so they're always a tough opponent. And in the previous season, I believe we lost 5-0 there. My friends got very wet on a day when they went down to see the American football the same weekend, and they got very wet and didn't enjoy it all, so let's hope there's not a repeat of that one. Dagenham are 7th, Notts County are 8th, they're both on 22. There's a gap to Altrincham on 19. Stockport 17 points, Wrexham 16, so they're 10th and 11th. They're 2 of the big time Charlie teams, like I say, alongside probably Grimsby, Chesterfield and Notts County. They're the 5 teams I consider to be the money teams in this league, but only 2 can go up, so there's going to be disappointment for 2 or 3 of them, and I would imagine there might be disappointment for 2 or 3 of the managers, because if we don't get the teams up the league, for example someone like Jim Gannon at Stockport, he's got to be in danger of losing his job. So we're stuck with him for quite a long time, but the patience will wear thin if it got to the point now where they think automatically they're going to get promoted. So it might be worth keeping an eye on a situation at Stockport, I reckon, out of all of them. Then maybe Wrexham, obviously, because they've got the Hollywood actors behind them, McElhinney and Ryan Reynolds, so they're going to expect to be probably in the top 2 or 3 at the end of the season. They've got a lot of work to do. So yeah, plenty to keep your eyes on there. Like I say, Town are away at Bromley tomorrow, so that's one. I'm just going to look for the rest of the fixtures, see if there's anything of real significance. Grimsby play Notts County tomorrow at Blundell Park. That's a big match. Dagenham and Redbridge are at home to Chesterfield at 3 o'clock. They're the 2 I can see there standout games. And then there's this one midweek game, but it's not really important. It's Woking and Bromley. So so that's where we are with the National League. So I think we'll leave the football there, and now we'll move on to talk about the T20 World Cup in cricket. England have made a good start to the T20 World Cup. They've won the first 2 games comfortably. They absolutely annihilated the West Indies when they bowled all out for 55. Adil Rashid took 4 for 2 in that game. Amazing that. I think the top scorer for West Indies was Gale with 13, and England knocked it off with a loss of 4 wickets. And in the second game, comfortable win again against Bangladesh. Bangladesh, I think, they restricted to 124 for 9, and England won with 8 wickets to spare, 125 for 2. A good performance by Jason Roy, who scored 61 before he probably he was probably frustrated about being out, but he played a really good innings, got 61. And on the bowling side of things earlier, Tamal Mills took 3 for 27, and Liam Livingston tripped in with 2 wickets as well, which is handy to see, because obviously he's known for his batting, but he's useful because he bowls spin in these conditions in the UAE. It's going to be useful to have him in the team as well as Moeen Ali and Adel Rashid. So I think they've got a decent balance to the attack of England. They started well. The next game's tomorrow against Australia, who are also unbeaten after 2 games. They beat South Africa comfortably in their first game, and then they beat Sri Lanka yesterday, again fairly comfortably. So England against Australia, old enemy, clash as usual. 3 PM tomorrow, Sky Sports again, if you've got that. And then England's next game after that is on Monday, I believe. I think they play Sri Lanka. That's at 2 PM because obviously the clocks go back this weekend. If you're in the UK, it's the end of British summertime, late hours, early hours Sunday morning. Clocks go back, so don't forget to put them back, or you'll be missing the first hour of the cricket on Monday. Same with the football on Sunday. The half four kick-off you might find is now, if you haven't put your clock back, it'll still be 5:30. So just be careful with that. Okay, so that's what's happening with T20. And the other group in the T20, as I mentioned, Pakistan has started really well, and they've won both their first 2 matches, including a convincing 10-wicket victory over their massive rivals India, which they'll have enjoyed, and the Indians won't have enjoyed it all. They're an interesting team of Pakistan. They've got some talented cricketers, including Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan. amongst others, and obviously the bowler Shaheen Shah Afridi, he's a great bowler. But they're a bit inconsistent, as you know, over the years. They could either be brilliant or absolute rubbish. So keep an eye on Pakistan. They could be a threat to England. I think England and Pakistan so far look like the standout teams, but never rule out teams like Australia or India. They're always there in the big tournaments, and they are great teams. So something just to keep your eye on. Pakistan actually are playing today. They're playing Afghanistan at 3 o'clock today. So if you want to watch that this afternoon, you're interested in the game, you know where it's at. It's at Sky Sports Cricket. Okay. Moving on from the cricket now, talk about stock cars. Stock cars this weekend, 2 meetings, 6 p.m. Saturday evening, Oddsall Stadium, Bradford, for National Series Shootout Round 7, and the mini stocks are supporting them. And on Sunday afternoon, 12:30 at Sheffield Howlston Stadium, Shootout Series Round 8, and again supported by the mini stocks. Decent lineups booked in, 40 cars booked for tomorrow, and 42 booked in for Sunday at Sheffield. As it stands in the shootout, it's looking like a battle between Tom Harris and Ryan Harrison, as I mentioned previously. There's been some conjecture going around that they may miss some of the rounds towards the end, including the final, but I'm not sure if that's just a rumour or somebody trying to stir it up. Hopefully it won't be. The final's actually at Oddsall on Saturday the 13th of November, the final round, the shootout round, where there's double points or whatever on offer. So I'll keep you up to date on what I find out about that, but it may just be somebody trying to stir it up. I can't imagine they both missed the final of that to go to America. I can see why they want to go to America, but not when something like this is at stake here in the UK. So yeah, keep you up to date with that one. Before we moving on from stock cars, I want to mention the sad passing of Dave Pearce, long-time promoter at Buxton Raceway. Very popular man in the sport, well liked. You know, so our condolences go to Dave and his family and his friends. Okay, next up, Speedway, and the Speedway season more or less over now in the UK. All the top league matches are over. We've had a couple of open meetings last weekend. Dan Bewley won the Peter Craven Memorial Trophy at Bellevue in a 6-rider final. He won comfortably. The other 5 were scrapping over the other places, but he won by probably 30-40 yards, I would say, or metres, whatever you want to call it. And Ryan Douglas rode well to finish second, and Max Frick finished third. It was a good meeting, good way to finish the season, some really good racing. And then obviously on Monday, Wolverhampton had the Olympic, the handicap event they have, and that was won by Scott Nichols, the veteran Scott Nichols, taking advantage of the various start positions he had during the meeting to amass enough points to get to the final. In the final, made no mistake, and it's a good result for him. That I think some of the Wolves fans probably hope that Rory Schlein might win in his last meeting for Wolverhampton or at Wolverhampton. He finished third in the final. Good finish to the season though, in that league. And then we've still got the championship playoffs going on. Poole beat Edinburgh in a knockout cup. They won the second leg on Wednesday night. They already won at Edinburgh on Saturday afternoon, 47-42, and they wrapped it up with a convincing victory at home on Wednesday night. They were due to be riding Sheffield in the playoff finals, the championship title playoff finals. Last night and tonight, but because of the weather, especially bad in Scotland this last few days, they've rearranged it to go beyond the normal season deadline date, which is Sunday, Halloween the 31st of October. They're actually riding the first leg at Glasgow on Tuesday the 2nd, and the second leg on Thursday the 4th of November. So 2 good matches to look forward to there, provided the weather plays ball. Hopefully, I think they've looked at the forecast and decided those were the best days to have it, and it fits in with the schedule for them. So that's the last thing, and I'll be reporting back on those in next week's podcast. Finally, we're going to talk about Rugby Union, and this weekend sees the start of the Autumn Internationals. Scotland take on Tonga at Merrifield at 2:30 kick-off there, and Wales take on All Blacks New Zealand at the Principality Stadium 5:15 kick-off there. USA was supposed to be playing Ireland, that game's been cancelled. It was supposed to be in Las Vegas, but I don't know the reason behind it. I've seen that it's been cancelled, so if anybody can shed any light on that, please let me know in the comments below, or anybody's interested. I think that's just about all for this week. One thing I have forgot to mention in the football bit, and I want to leave it till the end, was again a sad passing of former Everton, Rangers and Scotland manager Walter Smith at the age of 73. I know he was a very popular man in the world of football. Obviously, when people pass away, you get the feeling that people say, "Oh, he was a nice man" and stuff like that. But you get genuine feeling that Walter Smith was well liked. even by the Celtic people. Obviously, a few I've heard comments from some of those people, like Chris Sutton, who played for Celtic. There were a couple more players I've seen. Things, the rivalries, surpassed by stuff like this. Ali McCoist obviously was very emotionally sweet. I haven't seen it, but I know he's very emotional. And what he said about him, obviously, we're a close friend to him. Did a good job for the clubs and the countries he managed. And his involvement in football, he'll be sadly missed. So R.I.P. Walter, and condolences to all your family and friends. And on that note, we're going to end it there for this week. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this week's podcast. Like I say, if you've got any comments or anything you want to see, it's not included at the moment. Just let me know about it, and I can always look at adding them into it. People have mentioned things like NFL. We normally talk about Rugby League, but doesn't have anything really to say about Rugby League this week. There'll be things coming up in November, no doubt, international games. I may have missed something there. If I have, I apologise. But otherwise, have a good week, and I'll see you again next Friday. Thank you. Bye for now.